And we're live, don't care. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever the hell you are in the world, and welcome to Sci-Trek, your sci-fi TV and movie channel. And we're joined by Sci-Fi Quest. Look, hello, Sci-Fi
Hey
Quest.
guys,
How you doing? I always love saying that little bit, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever the hell you are in the world, just because we actually get viewed from people all over the world. It still drives me, just blows my mind.
well, I do say the first 30-second, draws the views.
Well, yeah, so just give everybody a little, I love you guys all over the world. Anyway, we thought we'd get you on, Melvin, and just talk a little bit about what's going on. Oh, we have a new member, by the way, Kaha. Thank you very much, sir. I wanted to tip my hat to you, so thank you. Kaha. Kaha. That throws me back to my days when I used to do karate. That was useless.
I karate as well.
Everybody did at one point, because we had the Karate Kid, and then everybody went, I can do that. Wax on, wax off. All this, I can do that. Kia!
Well, you could try.
Oh, yeah, no, I just got punched in the face a lot. But, it was all good. Andrew, how are you, sir? Davey B is with us. How are you guys?
David B, how you doing, man?
Davey B. Laura Smith, Melvin in the house. We're going to talk a little bit about Stargate because I wanted your opinion on a couple of things, and I wanted to announce what we're doing tomorrow because we're doing something very, very cool tomorrow. We're going to talk monster movies because we've had a few little updates on a few aliens. We got Monarch coming out soon. The trailer dropped where we saw a couple of trailers for Godzilla -1, which we wanted to talk about. And the trailer for Echo dropped, and we're going to talk a little bit about Marvel, which might turn into us complaining about Marvel, but we'll see how it goes.
Sure.
Sarah, you're in with us as well. It's the usual bunch. We absolutely love it. So first of all, I wanted to... Well, I'll tell you what we're doing tomorrow on Sci-Trek Live on Sunday. We're starting a bit of a new format. Right. We're going to have what I think will turn into an argument. But the idea is to do a presidential debate style thing. So I am going to be arguing that we should get a TV series. Harris is going to be arguing... Well, yeah. Harris is going to be arguing that we should get the movie that they're planned. And we're basically going to try to help Amazon and MGM to make the right decision because they seem to be uncertain which way to go. So lots of infighting, and because of the strikes, it's given them time to think, and that's never a good idea. And the Man United are playing at the moment. Times remain in midfield's a shambles. So if you see me just sort of like going, it's because it's 0-0. So first of all, how are you doing, Melvin? Are you had a good week, mate? And what are you doing on your channel at the moment? And tell the people why they should go and join you. There's a link, by the way, in your description for Melvin's channel.
Cool. Right, yeah. So I've been good. I've started up on making my Babylon 5 reaction videos again. It's been a couple of weeks of a gap in between, but they're doing very well.
Good.
Gotta love Babylon 5.
Yeah, B5's one of my. It's. I honestly think it was groundbreaking, and so many shows have been copying it ever since. Sci-fi shows.
The controversy when Babylon 5 came out was DS9 was a copy.
Yeah.
Which it was technically, because they even I can never pronounce his name. He actually took the producer of Star Trek to court and won.
J. Michael Straczynski.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. It's hard. I can't pronounce his name.
JMS. Just say JMS. JMS.
Because he actually won, and then put it all the money he won from the court case. He actually just put straight into the show, and you can see it when you watch it. It's amazing.
Yeah. But then I actually would argue that Babylon 5 by more kind of copied it as well, but not the storyline, the style, because there was a distinct style to the way the battle scenes and things, and everyone's looked over at that Battlestar Galactica was this amazing new style. And I'm looking at Babylon 5 going, okay, yeah, they did it cheaper, but the fundamentals were there, the sound and the way the ships moved and things like this. And I'm like, I think Ronald D. Moore might have been a Babylon 5 fan. But anyway,
possibly, yeah. I mean, with the Babylon 5, it was all CGI. There were no actual physical models in the studios, so it's not the same with DS9. DS9 it was both. I think they were using models and CGI. They were just moving over.
Deep Space Nine would have been still using solid models at that point.
Yeah, and then Voyager was the first Star Trek with full CGI.
By seven, season 3 or 4 of DS9, they started using more CGI. But I mean, even in the big Dominion wars, that's one of the reasons why you see so many Excelsiors still fighting and getting blown up, because they had the models to destroy. So, but by the end of DS9, they were all CGI.
So many Mirandas.
Yeah.
Every time you see a ship battle, you see like 3 or 4 Mirandas in formation.
Yeah.
No constitutions.
But I mean, the flashback episodes of DS9 when they had the Enterprise, that was a big thing at the time, because that was the first time we'd seen the original Enterprise by CGI.
Yeah, and it was one of the best TOS episodes that they went back to as well, because they went back to Trials and Tribulations, I think it was, wasn't it?
Yeah. And you see that brilliant episode thing where James T. Kirk is bollocking them, and because they've started a fight with the Klingons, and it's a mix of the original crew and like O'Brien stood there and stuff. It's really good. But they did it.
And Bashir, don't forget Bashir was there as well.
Yeah, Bashir was there. They did it absolutely beautifully.
And the famous dwarf scene was like, we don't like to talk about it.
Yeah. We just don't talk about it. We don't talk about the original.
Yeah, we don't like to talk about it. Yeah. Without fighters.
But to talk about Stargate very briefly, because I just wanted your opinion. We're doing this presidential debate style tomorrow. Stormy is going to be mediating. Which he's disappointed by, because it means he can't get involved in the actual argument. Hunda Tuyum? Hunda, I can't even, I'm struggling with that. But hello from Germany.
Hello.
Koblenz in Germany. I've been there. It's lovely. So Stargate. We dropped the news, and it was actually confirmed by Jenny Stiven, MGM Insider, on the live last week, that there was a meeting a couple of weeks ago where basically the top bosses of Amazon said to, because there's been a lot of infighting for ages, a lot of executives and a lot of people, mainly MGM, have been saying, we want to do a series. Please, God, don't do a movie. A series would work better. But Amazon have always said, no, we're going to do this straight to cinema movie. 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago now, the top bosses of Amazon basically said, right, to the people that were arguing movie, and I think Michael Wright, who's the head of MGM Plus, was really the main focal point of this. So they basically said to him, right, do a presentation. Tell us why we should do a series. Why would we? And again, I imagine lots of PowerPoints and them going, no, this is a pie chart on why people want a TV series, not a movie, and that sort of thing. But it's opened up a can of worms because of the strikes and everything. Everything's on pause anyway. They've been reviewing everything that they were doing, and it's just opened up this possibility. And I'm not saying at this point that they've gone with a series or a movie. It seems to be still up in the air a little bit. But there is a possibility that they might take what they've done preparing for the movie and just shift it into a series. I'm not being told they're going to scrap it. I'm basically told that they'll just divert it and redo what they've done, not waste anything, hopefully, and just blah. Yeah. I just wondered, before we get into the debate tomorrow, what do you think? Did you have any thoughts on that?
Well, selfishly, as a Stargate fan, I want a series. I want the show. But I can also see the benefits of them doing the movie, because then they'll revitalize the cinema, right? People start going. I'd go to the cinema to see a Stargate, regardless. So I mean,
I go twice.
And the cinemas, they need to have movies pumped into them right now, because no one's going. So they need to have have a franchise like Stargate come on the big screen. I have a feeling that people are going to go and see it. I mean, you're going to get new fans from a new movie, right? So that will benefit the show, and it will benefit Amazon, because they'll have an influx of extra cash, instead of like these other stream services where they're bleeding money left, right, and center. And I've always thought that if Amazon does decide to go with the series, I'll be perfectly happy 100% if they just decide I'm going to that they're going to make a movie and then put it in the cinema. Just like a spin-off, maybe maybe follow some other SG teams, right?
Yeah.
It's a huge universe in Stargate, and all we've seen is we saw Stargate, we've seen Atlantis, we've seen Universe, right? So it'll be nice to see a new group of people going off in a different direction, and then maybe that team cameos in the series, and then they have like a spin-off movie series, that sort of thing.
Yeah,
that would be a huge benefit to the franchise.
What do you think? So one of the arguments was franchises aren't doing well at the cinema at the moment. Marvel, DC, all of these other things.
The Marvel stuff now.
Well, we'll go to Marvel later. But Indiana Jones, it's not been doing well. The last Mission Impossible,
Disney mostly.
Yeah. But the last Mission Impossible film bombed.
Oh yeah.
So, but these films, I mean, Indiana Jones and they both did well when they were then released electronically. So
Indiana Jones
well, yeah, but it wasn't because they were bad films.
No, you know what I mean? Well, they rewrote the Indiana Jones and they literally just reshot half of it. So,
well, yes, they did. I mean, oh god, the cost of that film was just But my point is though that is this going to be so one of the arguments was, well, Stargate won't do well because it's a franchise. I would argue Top Gun did very well last year because it was bringing back a franchise and there was a bit of retro, and it was a bit of, people harking back to things. So if you think of it not as a franchise like Marvel, but a franchise like Top Gun, maybe it could do very, very well at the cinema.
Well, I'd say more likely look at Godzilla.
Which
we'll talk
about that in a minute.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But I mean, it's just a perfect example of franchises that have the potential and can do really well. I mean, how long has Godzilla been going on for? Since 53?
Yeah,
huge franchise.
I mean, you could also like the Planet of the Apes movies. I think we got another one of those coming out shortly.
Oh yeah, I had a video on that. Thursday, I think, or was it Friday? Anyways, yeah. So I've done a video on that, and that looks absolutely stunning.
Oh, I will not be watching it. I have not. I watched the first one, absolutely hated it. I don't like the Planet of the Apes movies anyway, and it's not for me. Not for me. I won't be watching the new one. Bollocks to it. So, in my own thing, but they've been quietly making money, doing very well for their home studios, not losing any money, just cracking on, moving forwards. And Eric makes 2 more. So Marshall amounts have come on. Oh, for God's sake. Where is it? United. I love you. I'm so
sorry. Last time I wore a Man United shirt, I was with a friend who was in a wheelchair, and we went to watch a Watford game, and Man U were playing, and I had a Man U shirt underneath a Watford shirt. Man U was close to my heart. The Watford shirt was over the top,
but you don't want to get beat up.
My local team, if that makes sense. I supported both, but Man U should win.
I went to watch a Wolves game because my mate had a box, and I was literally the only one wearing a Man United shirt. And I didn't give a crap, and we dicked them as well.
A few years ago, I went to Old Trafford and watched one of their replay games. I forget what they called it. It was the Bayern Munich game. They redid it. They had all the same players on the pitch. It was amazing.
Yeah. No. Oh, I see. I know what you mean. Yes, I do know what you mean. Yeah. But anyway, with the Stargate, because people don't want to talk about Man United. Let's be honest. I don't even want to talk about Man United. I want to pretend it's not happening. But I can't.
Get all that.
So with the Stargate, then I actually think there is a possibility it could do very well. And at the end of the day, is it a bit old-fashioned though to think that a franchise will do better if you get a big cinematic movie? So I mean, imagine if the cinematic movie bombs, that kills the franchise immediately. But if it does really, really, does really well, it kickstart a franchise to the next 20 years.
Yeah, it can do. Yeah, 100%. But the thing is that a lot of people are a bit tired of franchises right now. It's like I said, we're going to get into Marvels like a little bit later. But I mean, there's perfect examples. You know, even I mean, one of the franchises you could think that people aren't interested in that much is probably Star Trek. You have to be a Star Trek fan, either for the new ones or the old ones, and there's a lot of arguments between the two, right? Just, some are saying, "Oh, it's not canon," and others are saying, "Oh, yeah, but it doesn't have to be canon." It's a huge debate. Loads of people just hate it when you say bad stuff about it, but it is actually true. You know what I mean?
Some of it
good.
I'm trying to find out a little bit about Star Trek at the moment because there's some. I've been told a couple of rumors this morning that are interesting, but I'll talk about that later in the week because I got to find out a bit more for myself. I got to dig into it a little bit. But my argument with Star Trek is that the first couple of seasons of Discovery full is crap. I don't like it. It's boring. I loved the first season of Strange New Worlds. I was disappointed by the second, but the animated stuff is great. And I can see that there's a future for Star Trek, but we need less of it. There was too much. There was 5 shows at one point. That's too much. Yeah. And then because people do get fatigued, but Paramount have tried to do something different with it, and I hope they don't try to do this with Stargate, to be honest, because Paramount, what they've done is they've tried to do 5 different shows for 5 different demographics, basically. They had a younger show, a kids show, and they were thinking, and they were quite proud of it, saying that, like, if we do this, if you don't like that Star Trek, just watch another Star Trek. Just watch the other one instead. And then that was their philosophy. And I'm like, that's the stupidest philosophy on the planet. Do a Star Trek show. I like sci-fi. I will watch different types of Star Trek show, but aiming it solely at children, solely at 18 to 24s, and then we've got Picard season 3 for us Trekkies, and I'm like, that's an idiotic way to do it. Just make good shows. I mean,
that's the thing. I mean, traditional Star Trek has always incorporated every single one of them. I mean, it's always had something for everyone. You know,
I should say it's the UK. It's the middle afternoon for us. So I even considered bringing a beer up with me. But hey, Jess, how you doing? So we'll see. But I don't think Amazon is stupid enough to do that with Stargate, because I do think it's a bit of a failed experiment with Star Trek, and hopefully they're learning their lesson from it.
Yeah.
But they don't seem to be. So, but let's think. Andrew's made a good point here. I know quite a few people go to the cinema regularly but won't subscribe to a streaming service, so it's a chance to pick up all new Stargate fans who usually sub to a streaming service.
That's a good point.
But I think there's a really good point for why Disney movies are doing particularly badly. Not just because they've got a bit of a bad reputation at the moment, and they have made some absolute stinkers of movies. Don't get me wrong; they've made some really bad films. But they've also made some good films that have still bombed. And I think there's a argument to say people can't be asked to go and watch films at the cinema where it costs £20 a ticket when they know it's going to be on Disney Plus in a couple of months. And that's
and like I say, it's 20 quid a ticket, and then how much is a bottle? How much is a drink? How much is
I took my kids and spent £100. Couple of months
easy. You can easily spend £100 plus just to go and see a movie that's an hour and a half, 2 hours long.
Yeah,
you're not going to sit through that without a drink, are you?
Yeah, or you wait for a couple of months, and it's on Disney Plus that you already pay for.
That's what I do at the moment, because I can't actually get to a cinema right now, so I can't go and see them. So I wait until they come out on streaming because I've got no choice. I would go to the cinema, but like I say, it's just difficult, cost of living and stuff.
Well, and that's the other point, isn't it? This cost of living. So, I mean, how do you justify that when, you've maybe not got as much money in the bank at the moment as you'd like? Have a free kick in a dangerous area, for God's sake. I think this is going to go 0-0. I think, United! Anyway. So, Yeah, I think they've really shot themselves in the foot. But while we're talking about those, let's talk about Marvel, because
Oof.
I think the Echo trailer
Mm.
dropped this week.
It looks amazing.
I pointed you towards it because it genuinely looks really good.
Yeah, I literally just watched it earlier today after Jay mentioned it.
Yeah, I think they're right. So Andrew says, I don't think it's franchises dead as much as it's people are a little over comic book movies, and I think that's true. I think people are going a bit bored, but I would also argue that the movies have been bad, which is why people got bored of them.
They've been rubbish. He's right, because Invincible season 2 has just started on Amazon Prime, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I watched it and I was like, this is actually a really good comic-based superhero show. It might be an animated series, but it's on the level of The Boys, if you know what I mean. It's just
Well,
there's blood. It's not a young kids can't animated show, you know. It's and that is it can be a very popular show. It can be very, very popular. That's what I like.
I've gone off it. It goes too far for me. It's too much. Boys. And this new Gen V, it put me off. It put me off immediately.
I'm glad
afraid. But I don't think I'll be watching it. But I loved The Boys, the first season. I adored it. I enjoyed the second season, but the third season, I was just like, I'm starting to go, this is just too much. I don't need this. Okay, the guy's got a dick that's like 12 feet long. Okay. And that joke went on
a manga movie.
Well, yeah, it just went too far for me.
It's animated manga stuff, that is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
From the 90s.
Yeah. David! Damn it. Golf thing, only joking. David! So, I honestly think that Marvel have done some absolutely stinking movies. That's why people have been turning off Marvel, because they've been bad. Doctor Strange 2 was bad. I mean, that's some good bits in it, but it was generally not very good. So Wakanda Forever, except for that second film, because it was not very boring. On so, and I've got wings on my feet. Sod off! You just look like an idiot. You're the least scary. That guy comes flying towards me, and like, oh, he's going to kill me. Look at his shoes. Idiot. It just made some bad stuff. I'm not looking forward to Ironheart. That looks stupid.
Oh, that looks terrible. And
so, but they've done some really, really crap stuff. David, if you're joking, Bruno! 1-0. Davey. Thank you, sir. Bruno scored, and he's in my dream team as well. Double trouble. Woo!
Just don't say this aloud.
Sorry. Bruno. The Last Guardians of the movie, was melancholic. Again, if it had been about half an hour shorter and they'd like trimmed it down a little bit and made it a little bit more focused, I think it could have been really good. But it's just it went on too much. It was 2 episodes and a half.
Yeah. I mean, the problem with the only reason I actually watched Guardians was because of Nathan Fillion.
Yeah.
The last one. That's the only reason I watched it, because I love Nathan Fillion, Firefly, and all that amazing stuff. Even Rookie and that, it was just really good. Even Castle, a lot of the Castle I watched.
Yeah, I love Nathan Fillion. He's great.
Phenomenal.
If they get to make those Firefly movies that he's pushing for at the moment, I would adore it. Andrew, that's not a rumor. That is, I mean, Feige came out and basically said about 12 months ago they've been pushing to do too much too fast, and he was slamming the brakes on. And they were going to redo a fair bit, and they did basically the same thing with Star Wars about 8 or 9 months ago. They basically did the same thing. We're doing too much too fast. And I think they basically had a conversation with their CGI company, and the CGI people went, if you don't slow down, we're quitting. And now they've unionized, so they ain't gonna have a choice. But yeah, that is the fact that Marvel have slowed down. Echo, though, if you haven't seen the trailer for it, go check it out. Kingpin is in it, and it looks like he's gonna have a big part in it, and he is amazing. Not dead. Looks like he's been shot in the eye from the trailer. He's got a patch over his eye when he's talking. So I think it is shot in the eye. I think man refuses to die. But it looked like Daredevil was in it as well. I saw a flash in that trailer.
Yeah, there must have been some sort of tie-in to Daredevil.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Even though they've decided that they want to redo all of Daredevil, essentially.
Yes, anyway. They've scrapped what they'd started.
Yeah.
Apparently, right now this is rumor, but apparently they were going. They tied it in a little bit with She-Hulk, and when they then realised that She-Hulk was not well received, they've basically decided to scrap it. Basically, they've done with Daredevil what Amazon are doing with Stargate at the moment, and they're just going, "Is this the right way?" And then, but with Marvel, have gone, "No." And so they've just completely scrapped it, and they're rewriting everything. And or they had been filming for 3 or 4 months, and they're scrapping it, all of it. What's going on there?
Exactly. I think they filmed what was it, 13 episodes? Was it? I think it was supposed to be.
I don't think they filmed more than about 8 weeks, so they wouldn't have filmed more than one, maybe 2 episodes.
Or planned or something.
They wouldn't film it in order anyway, though, would they? They'd be filming a bit of episode 1, a bit of episode 9, and a bit. They do it by sort of like where they're set up. So they set up somewhere, you can film
not
there.
Like the OG Battlestar Galactica, where they have to film it in the week because that's how long they had, because it was on the following week.
Well, yeah, exactly.
The good old days of entertainment.
Yeah. Oh, sometimes they'll film the end at the start and all sorts. It depends on cost effective, the way that was most efficient.
It works well in most cases, but sometimes you can see the continuity issue.
Yeah, you get continuity issues regardless, but it's impossible to record things in an order. I do think it's better when they record an episode at a time, like they used to when we had 24 episodes. They had to, but with the streaming series now, they film them more like they film movies, and that's how movies are done. They'll set up in one location, they film everything for that bit, regardless of the order, which is why sometimes you can just tell in movies and it'll be a bit later on in the film, but it's in the same sort of thing. And you're like, oh, I'm pretty sure you filmed this on the same day. And I don't know what feel about it, whatever. But anyway, and then you get continuity errors, or you get rewrites. And the
rewrites are what kill the shows and stuff, I think, to be honest.
Yeah, but then when you get a rewrite that affects something that you filmed months ago, sometimes they forget. And there's little errors creep in. They're like, oh, I think the story's changed. But anyway, I just think I think Echo's really good. I think Loki's been really good. I'm really looking forward to the finale of that. I think it's a twisty, turny little bugger, but it's actually.
I'm actually a bit concerned about that because it's not the final episode of Loki I'm concerned about. It's the supposed post-credit scene tying in the Marvels.
I don't even. I've seen a couple of trailers for the Marvels, and I know someone that's seen it, right? Or seen a pre-cut of it, and they said it's pretty good. And they hated Doctor Strange 2. I mean, this person messaged me about a week before it came out and went, "You are going to spit up a lung when you watch this film." And I was still like, "Really?" And he's like, "Yeah, it's really bad." Especially because he knew I really liked the first Doctor Strange, and it was just like the CGI, and he was the one that told me that CGI
was amazing.
Yeah, oh, it's brilliant. It says that the CGI is awful, and I was under this sort of thing. I'm like, really? And I was like, say, yeah, I love bits of Doctor Strange 2, but I hate bits as well. But he's told me, he says the Marvels, he was shocked. He came out of the Marvels, he went in expecting to hate it, and came out and was like, it's quite good. so let's don't get me wrong, I don't think he's
well, let's hope that bleeds into to the audience that go and see it, because I mean they need something positive at Marvel right now, because everything, a lot of what they've done recently has just not been great, not been good at all. Even from I won't even mention the season that should have remained a secret.
No, let's mention it, because that was bloody The Secret Invasion. How do you get Sam Jackson playing one of the coolest characters, one of the coolest actors alive, to play one of the coolest characters, and it's dull, boring, and makes no sense? The whole thing at the end, the whole battle sequence at the end, no sense. I'm going to go around the battle scene, and we're going to collect blood, and we're going to have DNA, and we're going to make superheroes. That's not how blood works. That's not how DNA works. And you can't just. And that's not how battle scenes work. It's just thick. It was thick.
It was. It's kind of like the idea that people believe that cars fall off a cliff and blow up, which was in the movies, not real life.
Yeah. I love that scene in Thingy Hero with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he comes out of the movie and he shoots the car, it doesn't explode. And he's like, "Shut up, kid!" I'm going to shoot the petrol tank and nothing happens because it wouldn't.
Was there a scene where he jumps somewhere and he goes, "Ow, that hurt."
Yeah.
It never hurt before.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was brilliant. Bruno Fernandes. Huge goal. Thank God for that. We need those 3 points. Anyway,
carrying on with Last Action Hero, the bit when they walk into the video shop in the movie for the screen, and it's like you got the Terminator, and it's actually Sylvester Stallone.
It's Sylvester Stallone.
I reckon it would have been pretty good to have like a separate Terminator movie with Sylvester Stallone.
I love it. I love the room. Well, it's not the rooms. The story about how they two used to wind each other up, and Arnie actually convinced Sylvester Stallone to do "My Mama." I threw my mama off a train thing, because he basically said, "I really want it," and Sylvester Stallone was like, "No," and fought for it, and actually Arnie was like, he knew it was awful, just been tricked him basically into doing a terrible film. Have you watched? It's on Paramount at the moment. The Tulsa King with Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah, I actually liked that. I
adore it. I am loving it. I am about the 7th episode at the moment, so don't spoil it for me. But it's so good.
Well, mate, you got a lot coming, mate. You think you adore it now? You're gonna absolutely love it at the end.
He's just been to New York. He's just buried his brother, and but it's so good. And if everyone says everything Hollywood does is woke,
No way, no.
It's not woke. It's really good.
It's only the ones in Hollywood that they say is going to be a blockbuster. They're the ones.
Yeah. I just don't. I don't agree. Well, if anybody wants to say, I don't agree with that. But I do agree that some stuff is some stuff is utter crap. But I would just argue that we've always had crap movies.
We've always had crap. Just usually the crap is B movies.
Well, yeah. We just forget about them. We forget about the crap, I think. Hudson Hawk is a terrible film, but people. It was the most expensive movie ever made when it came out. But anyway,
I can't imagine how.
Well, yeah, I think it was mostly Bruce Willis's paycheck.
I don't think it was an interesting idea to follow that cat burglar. It was an adventure for me, to watch it.
I don't quite know why it bombed so badly, but it was maybe a little bit too silly. But anyway, we're wandering.
Yeah, we are.
What we actually came on to talk about was monster movies, because there's a couple of really exciting projects coming out.
Well, the Monsterverse is going to get a big boost.
Me and you were chatting just before we came on. We basically said like very similar to the Planet of the Apes movies. They've been very quietly just making money, doing good films, not blowing up the box office by any stretch of the imagination, but creating a franchise that makes sense. That's like, but the other franchise a bit like that is also the Godzilla franchises and the King Kong crossover, and they've been quietly brilliant.
Yep, they have.
I would argue that King Kong in particular, and Kong versus Godzilla, that film should have been stupid, but actually it worked.
Well, I'm glad you said it that way, because even though they released it as Godzilla versus Kong, it actually should be the other way around, because it's mostly about Kong.
Well, yeah. It was mostly about Kong, you're right. But my kids love this. My kids I cannot make my kids watch a Marvel film now for love nor money, but they will quite happily sit and watch King Kong films. They love them.
Well, that's the great thing about Monarch. It's gonna show the aftermath of everything from San Francisco all the way up to Hong Kong and stuff like that. So it's going to be incredible.
I think that's going to time. We talked about the new Japanese movie that's just come out. It came out a couple of months ago. I think it came out in August in Japan, but we might get over it in the Godzilla -1.
Oh my god!
It's based just after World War II, and it's the nuclear attacks on Japan basically triggered this, and Godzilla came out, and then so you got a country devastated by war, and then it gets back. If you haven't seen the trailer again, go and watch it immediately, and keep a very close eye on the special effects.
And also, this is how you promote a franchise.
Oh yeah! Oh hell yeah!
The way they promoted it with just teasers, no full cinematic trailer or anything. That is the way to do it. You're not showing
minimal.
Minimal.
But when you watch the special effects, and I'm going to say realism is the word I want you to think about when you look at the special effects. The way Godzilla lobs a ship and it hits a building, the way it hits, the way it then moves as it twists and breaks
and buckles.
Yeah, it's not like Hollywood special effects. It's done very realistically. Once or twice, you see Godzilla's big feet and he's like crushing people and you think, oh, that looks like a guy in a suit. But then the next shot is just like, oh, it's beautifully done. But I do wonder if they've thrown in a few little shots that look like a guy in a suit as a throwback to the original movies, potentially.
Well, I think from what I've seen and heard, I've got an opinion that they wanted to articulate it in a more realistic way. And what's more realistic than just CGIing what appears to be a guy in a suit? Because the articulation is just going to be perfect.
Yeah.
And someone actually mentioned about the size of Godzilla's feet in it. It's like, well, they're meant to be that big. He's a big animal.
Well, yeah. But no, it looks really cool. The Godzilla looks a bit like the Godzilla from the Hollywood movies, so it ties in. I think it's going to be beautiful. But the thing I like about Monarch, Rise of Monsters, it's going to be on Apple, which again, this is just showing that Apple really love, it's quality over quantity all day. Kurt Russell,
a lot on Apple even now, and a lot of stuff is spectacular stuff that they got on there. Foundation looks incredible and stuff like that, so it's really good.
The nice thing I like about Foundation is all of the dollars are on the page as well. They spent 45 million quid to make the second series of Foundation.
The ships look ugly, but you forgive it for looking so good.
Well, I mean, 45 million quid is what they were spending on an episode of Rings of Power. So, I mean, once you take in all the expenses, but $4 to $5 million an episode for sci-fi nowadays is what they were spending on The Expanse 5 or 6 years ago. Yeah. It's incredible value for money. So Monarch, Rise of Monsters, Kurt Russell and his son, because it's split 2 time periods, 1950s and modern day.
That's so bringing back something that happened once before, because in Soldier in '98, Wyatt played a young Kurt.
Yes, I've happened before, yeah. And they do look alike.
I like it when they bring the family in, and it's like, it's pretty good.
Yeah, I got that.
Oh, Monarch is going to show a lot of interesting things about Godzilla as well, about his history, which is going to be good.
And the general monsters, and the general wider thing as well, because I mean, there's that insect-looking thing that we're going to be getting, and a few other things. So again, it's expanding the monster verse that we've already seen some of. We saw.
There's something that I find lacking in the legendary ones is we don't see enough of the other monsters in the in that Godzilla verse. I call it Godzilla verse. And when you got Rodan, we got Rodan in King of the Monsters, right? We've got a few of the other ones, but they don't look right. Whereas what I've seen in Monarch, we're going to see more of the traditional ones, his traditional enemies and his friends, which looks really good.
So Monarch, Dave, is a TV show that's going to be on Apple Plus. Go and check out I think they've dropped 2 major trailers, and they've just dropped 2 or 3 days ago a sort of like a mini documentary behind the scenes type of trailer.
We haven't got long to wait for the show to start either.
It's 2 weeks, isn't it? It's a couple of weeks. something like that.
Yeah.
So, but Monarch is the sort of it's a company, isn't it? It's a privatized company that sort of like was searching for monsters, and they'd captured a couple. The big butterfly thing, that was the company.
They've never been able to capture one, but they've managed to contain them when they're asleep.
Yeah.
But when they wake up, that's when all hell breaks loose.
Yeah, the big butterfly just sort of went, nah, fuck off, and buggered
They
off.
really annoyed me when they killed Mothra in King of the Monsters, though.
Yeah. Stupid Mothra.
Mothra is important in the Godzilla verse.
Not anymore, he's dead.
Extremely important.
Yeah. But maybe they're just gonna go a different way. But
maybe there is another Mothra about to hatch.
You never know. Mothra is a slightly silly and not very terrifying monster. Even though, hey, a moth flies into my house, I don't know why it scares me so much, but they do. But I'd rather see.
The thing is, the Mothra we got in King of the Monsters looks very, very evil. You got the big moth wings, and then all of a sudden you got that little thing with all the spiky claws and stuff. It's like, no, that don't look right. There's something wrong with that.
No, it's terrifying. But yeah, I just, I mean, I'm really looking forward to that. I'm really looking forward to see if we have another movie, follow it up. The thing I like about Monarch Rise of Monsters, though, is that, I mean, from what we've seen, it's movie cinematic quality. It really, the monsters are excellent. The thing, and we're really going to get an in-depth look at the story, because it's not just set in one storyline. It's it should be absolutely fascinating. And just one more reason why the wife will let me keep Apple, because we started watching Slow Horses a couple of weeks ago, which is a fantastic spy series, and again, you've got to watch it. It's just fantastic. Really, really brilliant. Old school BBC.
I haven't really taken a look at a lot on Apple recently. Been doing other things, but yeah, I might take a look at that.
Give Slow Horses a go, particularly if you like spooks and things like that back in the day. BBC, ITV sort of thrillers, but it's done with a bit of an edge to it. It's really good, really good. Proper acting as well.
David Bailey, is that the one that's on Netflix? The 3-parter, I think it is.
I really know the Godzilla I saw one day when I
that
came
has Godzilla Earth
for the future. I'm not sure about that. I don't remember that.
That has Godzilla Earth, which is Godzilla at 1,000 feet tall.
Yeah.
It's the biggest he's ever been.
So the show's going to be, which show, Richard? Are you on about the Monarch? So we've got the Monarch show, Rise of Monsters, but we've mentioned a few shows in the last 2 minutes. So I think that's what you mean. Rise of Monsters is going to be Apple Plus. It premieres in the next couple of weeks. I've got the 11th in my head, but that might be wrong. I did look, but I didn't write it down. So the other big monster movie coming, though, and we've got two, actually. We've got a movie and a series, is the Return of the Aliens franchise.
Oh, yes. We've got Alien Romulus, which is going to be the movie.
Based a Star Trek crossover.
Yeah, and we haven't got an official name for the series yet, I don't think.
It's just called Alien at the moment.
It's just called Alien right now, but if I remember correctly, it's going to be based on a cybernetic company, I think. Creating efficient androids, that sort of thing.
There's going to be... we do know a little bit about it, because Noah Hawley basically came out and talked about this a little bit in the last couple of weeks. And for one thing, so filming already started. It started in July, even though all the actors are on strike, because it's being filmed in Thailand and it's mostly British actors. Excuse me. So they had an agreement with SAG-AFTRA sort of thing. But they did get paused in August because they sort of went, okay, we're taking the piss now. When everybody went on strike. We know it's set 70 years before the 1979 Alien movie. So that would have been set in 2122. So this film should be set 2050 sort of time.
So quite close to where we are now.
Yeah. So set in the future on Earth is the three big corporations and Wayland's Yanati.
Wayland. Yeah, but it's It's supposed to be a competing company with Wayland at the time, and Wayland buy that company to.
There's going to be 3 competing companies
Yeah.
doing different sides of the same thing,
Mm.
and Wayland are going to have an alien egg. Basically,
Well, at that point, it would have been Wayland, because then Utani would be one of the other companies.
possibly, maybe that's where the series is going. That they'll get.
Because I know that eventually in the other movie, in the original movies, Wayland Utani, Utani buys Wayland Industries,
Hmm.
and that's why it's called Wayland Utani in Aliens. Is it? Because I think in Alien it was still Wayland. In Aliens it became Wayland Utani. If I remember correctly, I can't be 100% sure though.
No, it should be Wayland then at that point. At one point, the series that everyone thought the series was going to be called Wayland, but that seems to have been dropped at some point.
No.
And filming's supposed to restart anytime. Apparently, as soon as the contract's done, they're ready to go again because they've not been shut down very long.
I think Romulus is in post-production right now, is it?
Romulus is in post-production. It should be out in August 2024. That's the current date.
Yeah.
And Ridley Scott has seen an early version of it, and
he loves it. Apparently,
very happy about it. He absolutely adores it. The one thing about the series, before we talk about the movie properly, the one thing about the series is this Noah Hawley talked about how he sort of mirrored the xenomorph's life, the way the xenomorph works, sort of thing. Sort of mirrored in the show. So he says the way he was describing it was the facehuggers are slow and a methodical sort of creature, and then you get the implant and it's secretive and it's hidden and it's growing inside you sort of thing, the threat growing from within, and then you get the monster, which is
a Gorn. Oh, sorry, no, wrong franchise.
But still intelligent. No, it's an intelligent creature, but it's just terrifying and animalistic sort of thing.
Well, I always say that the aliens are like ants. Ants are really intelligent and they got a hive mind. So that's what I see it. And even bees and wasps are the same. The hive mind is their intelligence is quite high. So that's what I always compare them with.
Yeah, it won't have anything to do with Ripley, no, simply because it's set both.
There was a rumor early on that it was going to be based around her daughter, but that ended up being the computer game, didn't it?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah. So that's going to be that. Yeah. So filming's already started on the series. We're getting that soon. Alien Romulus, the Star Trek crossover with the Romulans, obviously. That is already in post production, so it's already been filmed. And post-production's carried on because they've not been affected by the strikes. Ridley Scott is producing and it's directed by Fede Alvarez. The one thing we know, all we really know about it is that Alvarez has said it's going to be very dark, very frightening. It's going back to a horror movie. It's not going to be a very young cast, which doesn't really mean anything.
I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all because
I'm okay with
it. It depends. Is it a young cast on a spaceship like the original, or along those lines? Because that would make more sense. Because the crew would be young, and through hyperspace, in hypersleep, they might still age, which would make sense.
That's the thing. I don't actually know that much about it because they've been really
careful. There's nothing really, is there?
And it's all been recorded on like sound stages and things, so they've been very good at like keeping it under wraps. I know a guy again, and actually to be fair, the guy that I was talking to about earlier, who gets to see a few of these things in early things, he's dying to see it and he's not seen it.
I'm dying to see it.
And he keeps trying to like sneak his way in to try and get like a preview, but they haven't made many. They've not done. Normally they would do lots of these preview showings and try to get opinion on the project and stuff, and they've not done many with this because I think
they only agreed on the Romulus title remaining a couple of months ago. Because originally it was only a temporary title, but now they're going to keep it as Romulus, aren't they?
Yeah, I believe so. At the moment, anyway. I mean, it's still 8-10 months. Aliens 90210. Yeah. Teen angst. And then goes, "Oh my god, my hair!" And then an alien just eats it.
When did you get dreadlocks? I
I
haven't got dreadlocks.
was going to make a pronouns joke then, but I better not. I just think it's I think it's a really good time for aliens. I just think we've got the series and the movie coming out.
Another thing I just realised about the series, I didn't think of it before. I don't know why, but with the series, they could actually show other aliens. I mean, I wouldn't mind an appearance of maybe a predator or two.
Well, that was going to be my next point. Predators just had Prey.
Yeah,
which again was a stripped back version.
Prey 2, haven't they?
They've announced Prey 2, and we don't know a lot about that yet. The original theories were that it was going to be Mudblood again, but I've heard a rumor that it's not, and that actually it's going to be a similar sort of idea as Prey. It's just going to be set in a different time frame again.
Yeah.
And we'll again see again a different, slightly different variation on the storyline, which I think is good. I think it's probably going to be a sensible idea, because I think doing another one similar to Prey would have been difficult, because we had the ending sequence, didn't we, on Prey, with all the other alien ships coming in. So everyone initially was like, well,
there's actually there was a lot of theories about that going around, wasn't there? There was a theory saying that the aliens had come down to show their respect to the small human, and maybe take her away. And she may have been originally supposed to become this legendary human predator that they take away and train and stuff. But I don't
that's because that's what was done in the comics a few times.
Yeah.
So that was the rumor at the time. I think I even shared that rumor at the time. But I know for a fact this was pretty much greenlit 18 months ago. As soon as
it was pretty much greenlit after Prey came out, to be honest, in my opinion.
It was greenlit. It was I mean, that was producers already talking about how do we get this done. And then it's really just been the director and the producer trying to figure out the best way to do it. And that's just took a little while. And then obviously with the strikes and blah blah blah. But
Critters Tribbles crossover.
Well, yeah.
Tribbles. Critters was a funny little franchise, that was.
They had about 8 films in the end, and they just got more and more random. They were completely. You couldn't follow.
More and more silly. But that's what you loved about them.
Yeah, but they made no logical sense. I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? But anyway, but then my next thing was thinking an AVP crossover again, but done well. David, thank you so much for the super chat. What movie are you excited about going to the cinema for? I don't think there's anything coming out yet. Oh, actually, there's a new Nick Cage film, a comedy that I do fancy watching. I might go watch next week. Dreams in Dreams, or Dream Man or something. But let's have a look, because David made very, very polite and very kindly. Cinema releases 2023. Let's see what's coming out, and we'll pick something between us, shall we, Melvin? See what's coming out.
It's probably one we've mentioned already in this video.
We've mentioned a couple, haven't we, already? Yeah. Science fiction films coming out. Transformers, I didn't watch it. Don't want to watch it. Black Demon? What the hell is that?
Oh, that's about a shark, a spirit shark.
Yeah. What have you seen this year so far that you enjoyed? Do you think?
That's loads.
I really enjoyed that.
For me, there's a difference between enjoyed and actually like. It's like I enjoyed Ahsoka, but that doesn't mean I like Ahsoka, if that makes sense. But as for excited about a movie coming out in theaters, I'll probably say Godzilla -1.
All right.
Even though it's not going to be widely released, I think it was something like 200 cinemas across both US and UK. So it's not a huge release. That's the only problem with it, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, we're not going to get a full-on thing. I tell you what, film I was really ridiculously disappointed by was John Wick 4. It was just basically, and we have a new member as well. Thank you very much, sir. Most of our videos, if you remember, you will get to see most of the videos about an hour before everybody else, because YouTube have got a new way of doing it, so I can actually set it up really easily. So I'm like, yay! So members now get to see the videos about an hour before everyone else. Thank you, YouTube, for doing that. It's a very nice way of doing it. Really appreciate it. I'm trying to see any films that are still going to come out that I want to see, and I am struggling. I can't see any.
We've got a couple of months left, haven't we? So
I am really looking forward to Aliens when it comes out, but that's going to be next year. I don't know. I don't think there are anything really, really exciting. Cinema movies coming up. Let's have a look. Coming soon. Wonka. Nope, not interested in that. No. Captain America: Brave New World. Oh, of course, that's the first time. No, I won't be watching that.
No.
Aquaman 2. No, won't be watching that. The 2nd June. I'm looking forward to that. That won't be till next year now. Beetlejuice 2.
It's been too long.
It's dangerous, isn't it? Right, okay. No, John Wick 4 was not awesome. It wasn't. Right, for one, since when did John Wick become Wolverine or something? Because he was thrown off a 3rd-story building, landed on a van, and then just sort of got up and went, ooh, what? And I know the French are ignorant, right? But they're having a massive fight sequence around the Arc de Triomphe, and all these cars are going round and round and round, and they're all shooting, like, bouncing off cars and over, and not a single car stopped and went, hey, what are you doing? It's like, I don't know, he became a Boston person there. But I know the French Parisians are ignorant, but for God's sake, and the staircase scene in John Wick 4 went on so long, I started collecting my pension halfway through, which was, I was 24 years old when I walked into that movie. And just the staircase sequence alone.
You had more hair as well.
You want me?
The hair was longer as well.
Yeah, I had hair when we went in.
So did I.
Exactly. So, I mean, it was just bad. And it was just too long. If it had about an hour lobbed out of it, it would have been great. The first John Wick film is still one of the best action movies we've had for a decade. Easily. Yeah. It was stunning.
I feel that the first John Wick film was actually filmed along the lines of the old way of doing action films.
Yeah, 1980s action movie, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Old school, exactly. There is another Godzilla Kong movie being planned, actually, which I've forgotten about. The new Empire.
Godzilla X Kong. Coming out next year.
Yeah, that'll be end of next year by the looks.
That's one where they team up against two monsters. The Red Kong, which is the Scar. I can't remember his name, but he's got. It's more like a chimpanzee version of Kong.
Yeah.
Longer arms, red fur, and there's another monster that's supposed to be able to have. The Red Kong is supposed to be able to have mind control over other Kongs, so that's going to be interesting to see if they put that in it.
Oh, okay.
I'll just say traditionally it's in the comic books or something like that.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing, isn't it?
They're adapted.
There's so much in the comics that there's a lot to go through. Yeah, June 4, 2024. I think it's been pushed back again though.
No, I don't think they've pushed it back any further. It was
supposed to be this Christmas, wasn't it? And then they pushed it back. I don't know.
It was supposed to be this month, when it was supposed to be November originally, I think.
Yeah, it's been pushed back a couple of times. Aquaman 2. I'm no interest in it at all. I love Jason Momoa.
Yeah,
I adore the man, but he was the only good thing in the first one. Yeah, go back to Stargate, man. Go do a Ronan Dex movie. It'd be much better.
Or even if you haven't got the time to just voice a Ronan Runner series. Yeah, it was animated. That'd be cool.
Exactly. If you go to producers at MGM and say you'll do it, they'll do it. Yeah. They'll do it. But let's see. But anyway, bud, That's us on our hour mark. We've talked about. Did we talk about everything we wanted to talk about?
Pretty much, and more, I think.
Yeah, we wandered a little bit. I've got a sore throat.
Yeah.
I think I might have been getting a thing. Shall Popcorn Powers with us? Shall I arrange the marriage? What? What are you talking about? I don't know. There might be something in the comments that maybe makes sense.
There might be something I haven't really been able to follow it that much.
And secular, we are allowed to disagree, sir, and that is the joy of. I try very hard to say that no opinion, unless it's really stupid, is wrong on this channel. Jason Momoa, yes, please do. I love the man. He's just think my wife might fight me for him, to be fair, because my wife really likes him. It's unfortunate, to be honest. Does anybody remember Imposter with Gary Sinise and Madeleine Stowe? I don't.
I vaguely remember Imposter. I'm not sure. I couldn't tell you what happens in it, but I vaguely remember it.
Is it a TV show or a movie? Gary Sinise. Gary Sinise has done so many shows that then got cancelled, like almost immediately.
This one's going to be a musical.
It's going to be a musical.
Blank says Joker 2 is also coming out soon. It is going to be a musical. Oh.
Yeah, it's. Oh, I don't watch it. I didn't want to watch the first one. I don't remember this film. Gary Sinise. I'm looking at the posters now. Don't remember it.
Napoleon should be called Secular, and I think it's actually available, isn't it? It's available to stream now, isn't it? If I remember correctly.
It's not out yet, is it? I don't think.
I think I'm not sure.
ISP Brother Wolf. Yeah, I don't remember it. I don't remember Imposter. Sorry, I'll check it out. I do like.
I vaguely remember it, but
I remember The Pretender.
Oh yeah.
I think. But yeah. I was going to say something then. There's a film that's just come out, and I'm saying it's just a remake of something else. No, it's gone. That one.
Isn't there a film that's come out recently that wasn't a remake of something else?
I think almost every film is, though, isn't it? That's the thing.
I mean, how many times can you write an original movie? It's all going to end up being based on something that's come before it, isn't it?
Well, there's basically like 6 stories, they reckon, and they're basic stories and everything. I mean, because I was talking about
and Marvel have all of them.
Well, yeah, but I was talking about basically like Firefly reboot with somebody in the week, and they were sort of saying, and there seems to be the plan is in the first film we'll see Mal sort of broken, and he's given up after everything that happened in Serenity, losing Wash, and then the gang got broke up.
I could imagine him living in Serenities on some dirt pile in a planet somewhere.
Yeah, it's broken, and just living in the wreck of the
ship.
In
Firefly, when he in the was it the Out of Gas episode where we first see him as he sees Serenity for the first time? It's like,
you paid money for this, sir, on purpose.
But so that's the sort of thing I'd like to see in the shows and that. You see the character actually fall in love with something the instant that they see it.
Yeah. And I would love to see that in the first film, him, and maybe that's how the first film ends, with him actually getting the Firefly back into the black,
Maybe.
That's how the first film ends, sort of thing. But that'd be cool. And they were just saying,
River holds many secrets.
Well, yeah. But their argument was, why do films always have to start with the character broken? And I said, well, they don't have to, but it's more interesting. We want to see. But actually, with the Firefly thing, because of what happened in Serenity, it makes sense that he would be broken. Yeah. What I don't like is,
what was that?
Bring the band back together and go off. But I don't like it when something like Star Wars with Obi-Wan.
Oh.
He started off miserable, and then he comes back and he's quite positive again towards the end when he goes off on his own again. And I'm like, yeah, but something else must happen because he's miserable again next time we see him.
Yeah.
So how does he go back? So his story arc is that he was sort of broken, sort of was on a recovery or was becoming positive again, sort of thing, and then becomes sort of like broken and miserable again by the time New Hope starts. And I'm like, why does he?
Well, it's this connection to the Force, I think, because we see him struggling with the Force in Obi-Wan, right?
Yeah.
So he's lost his connection. He's only got very minimalistic ability to use it. But then, as he's fighting to save Leia, he's just suddenly starting to get his power back. And then at the point where he confronts Vader in the final fight, he's actually come to terms with a lot of stuff. He blamed himself for what happened to Anakin. That's a major part of that story, right? And the fact that he's come there and then Vader's actually said, "You didn't destroy Anakin, I did." And then all of a sudden, there he is. He's got all his full force on steroids, basically.
And then he spanked Vader with a big rock. But yeah. And then, I suppose by the time we see him again, actually in New Hope, he doesn't really blame himself for Vader, and he has come to terms with a lot of it. He's defeated, but he's not tortured like he was.
Yeah. The major thing, the major problem I had with Obi-Wan is they could have just cancelled the New Hope there.
Cancelled it out, basically.
Killed off Vader right then. And saved a lot of trouble and millions upon millions of lives being dragged out of their windows and doors.
How many films have we seen that over the years? They were just like, "Oh, I'm not sure that makes sense because if this had happened then, all that." I love the you said that in the argument for Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark, and somebody points out that nothing that happens in that film has any relevance to anything that Indiana Jones does.
No.
If he hadn't have been in the film, the Nazis wouldn't have found the Ark in the first place. But it's irrelevant if they would have done because they'd have opened it and all died anyway. So actually, Indiana Jones has absolutely it's a complete waste of time. And if he hadn't have been there, it would have all been better probably because they wouldn't have found it in the first place. No. And I'm like,
kind of like Ahsoka.
Yeah. Yeah, but if she hadn't
found the map, then Balin wouldn't have found it.
Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us, Melvin. It's been a joy, as always.
Do again soon.
We will. There is a link in the channel. You're doing a lot of Babylon 5 videos at the moment, like you've said, doing very well. So please, guys, go and subscribe to Melvin and his Sci-Fi Quest. And that would be very nice. Then come and join us tomorrow. Harris has got an announcement about his channel tomorrow. And we're going to be doing our presidential debate where we are going to decide for Amazon what they need to do with the series or movie. And I've got to think of my argument because I've got series. So actually, I could just sit there and just basically go 97% of fans want a series.
Is there anyone going to be there that's going to say, I'm neutral, I'm in the middle, I want both?
Well, no, you can't have both. One has got to come before the other.
This is one always leads to the other. So
a few people have actually said, well, I'm greedy, I just want both. And I goes, well, you might get both, but that's not the point of the argument. The point of the thing is, they were going to do a movie first, and now they might do a series first. So what should they do first? It's irrelevant if we then get the movie or the series afterwards. What are they going to do first?
It's just relevant what we get.
Yeah. The rumor is that we're going to get well, they've got a 5-year plan is the rumor that I'm hearing at the moment. And this is what MGM want to do, but Amazon haven't signed off, is they want to do 3 seasons of a show. There will be then a 1-season prequel show mixed in there. And then at some point in that first 3 years, there'll be a Amazon Prime movie, then another season of something else, and then a big movie at the end of that 5-year period. That's the plan. I think I'm getting that right. 3 seasons of one show over the 5 years, a prequel show, an Amazon Prime movie, and then another Amazon Prime movie at the end of the 5 years. It's basically a 5-year first chapter idea.
So it's basically, where will we be in 5 years?
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's
That
right.
one question that everyone's like, oh, I don't know.
Basically, we'll get 4 seasons of television and 2 movies in a 5-year period. That's what MGM want to do. But those movies would be straight to Prime movies. They wouldn't be like, and they would end the sort of thing.
I'm a bit curious about that, because does that mean they're going to get a movie in between the seasons?
I think so. I think the point is you get 3 seasons. So you'll get 2 seasons of the Prime TV show, then a prequel series, then a movie, then it'll get the 3rd season of whatever the Prime show is, and then another movie.
It's kind of like what Disney are doing with Star Wars, where you got all these shows that don't look like they tie in, but they're all going to tie in.
Yeah, that's the whole point. It'd be one major story arc, all building towards that second movie. Is the idea MGM have? But I mean, as far as I understand, they have absolutely no storyline idea.
I'm not sure that following Disney in that direction is the right way to go, to be honest.
They've been talking about doing a Star Wars style or Marvel style phases. That's the conversation that I've heard from going 2 years back. That's what Amazon wanted to do. So we'll see. But new styles approach many countries. Yeah, I think that's Jenny Stiven's basic idea that we'd have Stargate International. I think Amazon would be very keen to do that, and me and Jenny have basically separately heard the same rumor that might be the way they're going to go, because Amazon want to produce TV shows around the world for different audiences that then people will watch, because Netflix has proven that people will watch South Korean television in their millions. So they would watch it. It'd be primarily for, say, the
South Korean stuff has been brilliant. Did you watch? Did you see Space Sweepers when that came out?
Yeah.
That was a really good movie.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. But anyway, we'll see, because like I say, at the moment, as far as I understand it, the movie is still the plan.
Well, either way, I'm watching it.
Well, yeah. It's just that they seem to be open to the possibility of changing their minds, which is fine.
I'd be happy with, say, one season, and then the climax of that season being a movie, which then leads into season 2. That might be a good idea.
Yeah. I think so. Whatever, I think it'll be all intertwined anyway.
Yeah.
I've had a few comments this week about morons going, "Oh, you're just clickbaiting. You've been saying this is going to happen for ages, and now you're seeing something else." Well, I'm just like, all I can do is tell you what's happening. It's up to you what you do with the information. I don't control the information. I can just say this is what's happening.
There are plenty of clickbaiters out there, and it's obvious that you're not doing it. I'm just saying. Well,
I try not to. I think the thing with clickbaiting, right, is that I think you've got to a little bit, which is a bit. Well, at the end of the day, you want to do a title that people will go, I fancy watching that. I wonder what it is. So I try to put in questions in my title if I can. You can't with everything, because sometimes it's just like news or whatever. But I'll try to do could this happen? Or I try to do it in a way. You try to do a click thing that people will go, So if you want to call that clickbaiting, because it is really, I'm trying to get you to click. I'm trying to interest you. I'm trying to hook you. Or there's clickbaiting, which is just a lie in the title.
Yeah. To get you to click on it, and it's not anything, then the video won't be anything to do with what you clicked on.
Yeah.
Or the clickbaiting that I have issues with.
I mean, I watch, talking about United, who I love most. We won. Come on, 3 points. And there is a channel that I watch called the United Stand, which is, and they clickbait all the time. And it's it's a brilliant channel, and they always talk about the news and stuff, but they will say, Man United sale final, and that's the title. And then the video is basically about, okay, this person has talked about the video, that the sale is final, but it isn't, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, come on. You're not even talking about what the title is. That's clickbait.
Secular Monk? No, we don't.
What's Secular Monk? We need a musical episode of Stargate. Dear Lord, no, we don't. No, we had the 200th episode. That'll do. That'll do, pig. That'll do.
And before that, we'll have a crossover episode where the Infinity Group come through the Stargate.
Yeah, okay. I want to see the crossover where Doctor Who comes through the gate myself.
I'm still waiting for Obi and Loki to go, Dr. Jones?
Yeah. Yeah. Doctor Jones. Yeah, I love Obi in that. I cannot believe that actor couldn't get a job for like 20 years. And now he's one of the hottest properties in Hollywood.
And he was in Indiana Jones for crying out loud.
Yeah, and he was the best thing in it. And he was the best thing in Short Round. And then he was the best thing in playing Data as well. Yeah. In the Goonies, he was best thing in that as well. And then couldn't get a job for 25 years. Anyway.
Why? How is that possible?
I don't know. All right, anyway. Thank you so much, sir. We're going to call it a day. I don't know why, but I've got a sore throat, so I'm hoping I'm going to be all right.
We have 15 minutes over there.
Yeah, exactly. But, we started talking about Stargate again, so my notes gone. We'll have you again.
Over an hour ago, wasn't it?
Yeah. So we'll have you back very shortly, sir. Have a lovely weekend. And, guys...
You too.
Thank you very much, sir. We will see you tomorrow.
I'll be in the chat tomorrow.
Get in the chat, yeah. And guys, come and join us. The video is already up, so you can set your reminders now. Thank you so much. We'll see you later. I always do this, and I always say I'm never ready to actually click the button. Okay. Bye-bye, Melvin. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, shut up, man. I'm kidding.